Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. I just want to share a little bit of something with parents this morning, caregivers, aunts, uncles, um, whoever you may be that work with young people or children. I think one of the things I learned about from dealing with my disassociation and growing up um, was some people use a reward and punishment system, for their children, and for them, they're going to honor that, and they're never going to look at another way of doing things because they have in their minds that you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So then they go on these beating mantras sometimes that ends up with clearly abuse, like hitting kids in the head with skillets and throwing objects at children. So, and they have a reward and punishment, or they just have a punishment all across the board. But there's another way, another approach, and I don't mean to just be disrespectful. Okay, so let me stop. Um, I think it's a natural and a logical consequence approach. Okay, and if I could try to explain the difference between the two, it was a little something I put together. Um, and let me share it with you right now. Okay, reward and punishment deny children the opportunity to make their own decisions and to be responsible for their own behavior. Okay, because they're trying to get the reward or they're trying to get this, that, and the other. Now, you don't have to agree with me. This is just my opinion. Opinions, again, are like we all got. Okay. However, there is another approach to discipline, I think, and it's called natural and logical consequences. And that requires for the child or children or the person in general uh, to be responsible for their own behavior. They're going to be responsible for their own behavior. So you don't have to worry about um, misplaced anger. So let me go over these things. Natural consequences are those which permit children to learn from the natural order of things in the physical world. For example, that not eating is followed by being hungry. Okay? Uh, Logical consequences are those which permit children to learn from the reality of the social world. For example, children who don't get up on time may be late for school and have to make up some work or, suffer the consequence, whatever the instructor or teacher, has for them. Um, for consequences to be effective, the children involved must see them. They must see it as logical. Some children are just as more logical usually than the adult. So, in most cases, okay, I don't want to digress. All right. The purpose of using natural and logical consequences is to motivate the child to make responsible decisions, not to force their submission. Consequences are effective only when you avoid having hidden motives of winning and controlling. Okay? If that's not a hidden agenda that you using this consequence, for winning or controlling, then it's effective. Otherwise, it's not. Be both firm yet kind. Firmness refers to your follow through. That's all being firm is. It doesn't require you to do anything physical. It's just that if I say I'm gonna do it, then you just know I'm gonna check up on it. You just know it already. So that's the follow through for me, and that's the firmness that I consider my behavior. I had to learn that. I didn't always know that. So a kindness refers to the manner in which you present the choice. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go to social center, and that's not a problem. But just know that I'm going to check up and make sure that you're there at social center. Okay, and they know it. Talk less. So if you talk less, act more. And most of us have been brought up with do what I say and not what I do. So which means you want to talk a lot. Like I'm doing now, talking. Somehow we just love to talk. So maybe we should get that part out with our mate or with somebody else, or start a vlog. Because if you talk less with children and act more, you'll be more respected. Anyway, when you do things for children that they can do for themselves, then you are robbing them of their self-respect and their responsibility. I know, because it happened to me. Okay? And that's what happens when you, well, that's just a whole nother story. We won't go there right now. The differences between punishment and logical consequences. Okay? Punishment expresses the power of personal authority. Logical consequences expresses the impersonal reality of the social order. See the difference? Punishment is rarely related to the misbehavior. I mean, the child does something and then you punish them another way. So it's rarely related to the misbehavior, but logical consequences are logically related to the misbehavior. So you should tailor your consequence to whatever the action was, in order for it to make any sense. Punishment tells the child that he or she is bad. Logical consequences imply no element of a moral judgment on the person. Punishment focuses on what is past. Logical consequences are concerned with present and future behavior. Punishment is associated with a threat, either open or concealed. Logical consequences are based on goodwill and not some form of retaliation. Right? Punishment demands obedience. Logical consequences permits choice. Let me say that again. Punishment demands obedience, yet logical consequences permits choice. You can choose which one of these you want to do. Right? Avoid fights. They indicate lack of respect for the other person, but yet don't give in, because that indicates lack of respect for yourself. Let's see. Provide choices and accept the child's decision. Use a friendly tone of voice that communicates your goodwill. As you follow through with a consequence, assure children that they may try again later, or next time. If the misbehavior is repeated, extend the time that must elapse, before the child even is given an opportunity, maybe to try again. But ultimately, the choice was theirs. He was there. Um, be patient. It will take time for natural and logical consequences to be effective. This made so much sense to me when I was in my early 30s. It made so much sense to me. So I began the steps to orchestrate young people's lives in this manner, to make the focus of logical and natural consequences of the mantra, as opposed to reward and punishment, reward and punishment, reward and punishment. Because it didn't work for me. And that's what I kind of like felt. So, with that being said, I want you all to, have a nice day. Leave, your opinion about what you consider principles of natural and logical consequences, and share with, the other parents or care providers, aunts, uncles, whoever else is on here. I mean, some of the things that maybe you grew up doing or having done to you, it's not a part of your mantra now and how you deal with young people. I'd like to hear it, actually, because it's real important as we go forward, because it's a new day and we have to deal with young people certainly a whole different way. We really do, if we choose to be effective. Okay, if you like what you hear, y'all know what to do. Please like and subscribe. And again, leave your comments about what we should do about this live stream. Very interested in doing it. Except I don't know a lot about it. So leave your comments below, and we'll see you next time, right? In the mental house. Bye-bye.